Premier League's top 10 seconds house moments including the Adebayor celebration. Football is an art, but that does not mean every single victory is a priceless masterpiece. It is a game for it as much in the mind as it is on the football pitch. Every match is a war, a battle, and Premier League players are always trying to get themselves into the heads of the opposition as they would get into the penalty area. And football supporters would be liars if they claimed a cheeky divulge into the dark arts was not something they would ever be entertained by. Every now and then, a fantastic moment of shousery is appreciated like a fine wine, and Daily Star Sport considers the top 10 moments in recent Premier League history during a tumultuously physical encounter between Premier League's brute forces Burnley and Cardiff City. Ashley Barnes and Joe Bennett had a rather intimate coming together. After the pair collided with each other, Bennett got into the face of the striker in what appeared to be your average confrontation. While Cardiff and Burnley quickly got onto the scene to pull the pair together, Barnes leant forward and left not one but two kisses on the nose of Bennett. Barnes is a striker known for his assertive and physical playing style, but everybody in Turf Moor was surprised, if not somewhat amused to see the strange exchange. Unfortunately for Barnes, referee Mike Dean was not feeling the love as he proceeded to give the Burnley forward a yellow card. Now where in the rule book does it say kissing is a bookable offence? What is your favourite ever house moment in Premier League history? Comment below. Former Newcastle United defender Stephen Taylor is a former Premier League star well known for his cheeky attempts to gain an advantage. And when former midfield ace Yohan Cabaye was standing over a Newcastle free kick from 20 yards, Taylor ensured the Frenchman had the best chance of scoring by irritating Stoke City goalkeeper Asmir Begovic. As the Bosnian goalkeeper was trying to assemble his wall, Taylor stood in the face of the shot stopper and proceeded to mimic all of his actions and movements. The former Chelsea and Bournemouth goalkeeper gradually grew more flustered as Taylor stood in his way. To make matters even worse, Cabaye's free kick was a beauty which cannoned in off the underside of the crossbar, exactly where Taylor was standing. One of the most underrated moments of football is the post-goal celebration. It is an ecstatic burst of jubilation, happiness, and victory, particularly when it proves to be one of the winning goals of the contest. And then Everton midfielder Ross Barkley evidently could not wait to experience the feeling as he started celebrating a vital goal before he had even put the ball in the back of the net. After rounding then Bournemouth goalkeeper Artur Boruc, the now Chelsea midfielder held his arms up in celebration before rolling the ball into an empty net. It was the Toffees' sixth goal in a 6-3 victory against the Cherries, and Barkley evidently could not resist the temptation to rub it in the faces of the South Coast side. After David Moyes said Luis Suarez' history of diving before the Merseyside derby between Everton and Liverpool, the now West Ham manager's words came back to dive right in front of him. Suarez put in an exceptional performance at Goodison Park and he proceeded to rub it into Moyes' face after he opened the scoring. After hammering home a powerful finish, Suarez ran to Moyes' dugout and swallow dived right in front of the Scotsman at the time. Moyes dashed out of his seat and some objects were even thrown onto the pitch after the celebration. But Moyes was able to see the funny side and even left a cheeky dig of his own at the former Barcelona forward. I would probably have done the same if I had been the player, but he is going to have to dive in front of a lot of managers then I think, said Moyes. After Southampton full-back Ryan Bertrand's thrown-in slipped out of his hands and failed to even reach the pitch, it appeared the Champions League winner had rather embarrassed himself. Bournemouth fans even jeered and laughed at the Englishman after his blunder. Bertrand managed to find the pitch side camera and stared into it before winking and pointing to his wrist as if he was wearing a watch. Only the left back will know if he had just discovered an ingenious form of time wasting or if he had just messed up a routine throw-in. Only time will tell, isn't that right, Ryan? What goes around comes around, and football has a rather beautiful knack of coming back around to haunt players and teams. And Emmanuel Adebayor's exuberantly crazy celebration against his former club Arsenal is the perfect example how football often works in circles. Barely a few weeks after leaving Arsenal to sign for Manchester City for £25 million, the Togolese forward proved no love was lost between him and the Gunners. After heading the crucial third goal in City's 4-2 home win against Arsenal, Adebayor sprinted to the other side of the pitch and knee slid in front of the irate Gunners supporters. It came very close to provoking a riot, and City stewards and police both combined well to prevent the fans getting onto the pitch. Adebayor immediately expressed his regret in the post-match interview, saying the emotion took over me and that he was sorry for what I have done. Somehow we don't think Arsenal fans were very forgiving. However, when it comes to Mickey taking, Arsenal are far from innocent. The North Londoners' infamous Invincibles season, which saw them win the Premier League without losing a single match, is still revered to this day. But Manchester United midfielder Ruud van Nistelrooy was only a penalty kick away from preventing this record altogether. Unfortunately, the Dutchman ballooned his penalty over the crossbar, and Arsenal defender Martin Keown was sure to remind him of his failure by jumping and screaming in his face. Today, Keown is a pundit and co-commentator known for his eloquent and ice-cool analyses, but on that day at Old Trafford in 2003, he was anything but. Has there ever been a more Marmite footballer than former Chelsea and Arsenal defender David Luiz? While football supporters struggle to decide whether they like the fuzzy-haired Brazilian, it is innegable that he provided many memorable Premier League moments. But the best of which is the time he was curled up on the Old Trafford grass laughing after managing to get Manchester United defender Raphael sent off. After holding off the former right-back, Raphael let the frustration get to him as he swung a leg at Luiz. Judging by the way in which Luiz threw himself into the air and curled into the fetal position, you would have thought Conor McGregor had just hit him with a roundhouse. As the referee raised the red card, Luiz was caught laughing and smiling on the floor before back to his feet to watch Raphael make the long trudge down the Old Trafford tunnel. With Leicester City trailing Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium, former left-back Christian Fuchs was lining up one of his trademark javelin throw-ins into the penalty area. To distract the Austrian or block his flight path, former gunner Alexis Sanchez stood directly in his way as he was charging up the throw. Frustrated, the referee was not ushering Sanchez out the way. Fuchs instead loaded up all of the power he could muster and launched it into the shoulder of the Chilean attacker. Even though everybody in the stadium and on the television knew the ball hit Sanchez's striker, the former Barcelona man suddenly realized he could potentially get Fuchs sent off and proceeded to grab his face and sink into the turf. The referee was having absolutely none of it, as he immediately told Sanchez to get back on his feet. Arguably, one of the most despicable, yet successful pieces of shousery ever witnessed in the Premier League came when Liverpool beat Chelsea 1-0. While the Blues were on the losing side, Blues defender José Bosingwa took home the crown of the greatest house moment. Frustrated at Liverpool midfielder Yossi Benayoun shielding the ball in the corner flag, Bosingwa decided he had had enough and booted Benayoun into the turf like King Leonidas style. The main reason why this has won the esteemed prize is because the defender somehow won a free kick for the Blues when he really should have been sent off. Everybody was hugely surprised, perhaps none less than Benayoun, who would probably still be stumbling if the Anfield corner flag was not there.